Thanks so much for joining in today. Today, I want to talk about how to write a cover letter. In the last video, I discussed in depth how to craft an effective CV or curriculum vitae, and today is all about cover letters. A lot of people might be hearing about cover letters for the first time, so pay attention. And if you already know about this, there might be something you want to learn from this video today. A cover letter doesn't replace your resume or your curriculum vitae. It's simply a supplement. So it supplements whatever you have written in your curriculum vitae. So that's why in your cover letter, you don't just want to repeat things in your curriculum vitae. So you want to stick to a format and you want to be effective. And that's why we want to talk about this today. So if you are writing a cover letter for the first time, all this might seem really overwhelming sometimes, and it might be tough. You have to consider a few things when writing your cover letter, and you don't need to be creative or even a good writer for that matter, but all you need to do is follow a certain format, one that has been tried, one that has been tested, and one that has been proven to work, and it's going to be fine for you. So you don't have to be really a great writer to craft a cover letter for yourself. Think about a header for your cover letter. So you have to put your contact information right in there, and think about a greeting. So you have to greet the hiring manager or the recruiter, whoever that might be. You have to think about the opening paragraph. This is the one that's going to grab the attention of the person, the hiring manager or the recruiter. This is always 2 to 3 lines. So here you're highlighting your top 3 to 4 achievements again. So second paragraph, you're explaining why you are a perfect fit for the position, why you stand out from all the other candidates, thousands of them in some cases. And the third paragraph, you explain why you are a good match for the company. Why does a company need someone like you? You will have to explain that in the third paragraph. And then, of course, you have the formal closing. So that is, in summary, what you need to communicate in your cover letter. That's not difficult, is it? So let's go down and look at this in depth. So the very first thing is step one, which is pick the right cover letter template. There are so many templates there. I won't point you where to go, but you can simply just Google best cover letter templates, and you're going to get tons of them. You can select one and you can adapt them to your situation. Don't plagiarize in terms of content, but be original in the things that you want to say. So picking a template is something you can copy from anywhere. There's no plagiarism when it comes to the format, rather, but there can be serious plagiarism if you're using the content word verbatim, and that's punishable by the law in some places. So be careful. The best way really to leave a positive impression with the hiring manager is to use a template that stands out. It's as simple as that. So go down, research a template, and just make sure that you can contextualize it, make it your own, so you can personalize it and own it by editing it and by maybe adding even some features that are not found in it, so it can be your thing. You can own it. You can claim ownership of that template in the way you have adopted it. So that is the very first thing. Selecting a template is very important. So and I want to add here that you can pick a simple template, but just make sure that you use it effectively. So you something that can be simple can also be very effective. So the next thing, which is step 2, is that you have to start the cover letter with a header. Very important. A header here is something that is going to be at the very top of your cover letter, and that's where you will include your name, which is the very first thing in bold. So your name is right up there under it, your title. So are you a customer service professional? Are you a marketer, digital marketer? Are you a communications professional? So that should be under your name. And then The next thing is, so you write your name and the position that is being advertised, and then you write to, and then you write the hiring manager's name. You write their position. So the name, for instance, it could be John Bolton, and then you have, maybe he is the hiring manager. What's the name of the organization? Maybe United Nations, World Food Program, whatever. And then you put their address, their employment address, not a personal address. You put the city, and then you put the date. And to the very right of the page, in some cases, you may want to put your email address, your phone number, your city. So put the URL to your LinkedIn profile, and of course, you can put your Skype as well, because there might be an opportunity for you to be interviewed via Skype. So put your Skype name there, whatever it is. And so, like I said, you want to include your name, phone number, email, date, name of the hiring manager, their professional title. Make sure you include the name of the company you're applying to. And in certain cases, you might also consider adding your social media profiles, your personal website if you have one, your address, and your professional email. So make sure your email is presentable, and it is sometimes very difficult for hiring managers to take you seriously if your email address is like, Peter Baby at yahoo.com, or Claudie Sweetie at gmail.com. So they're not going to take you seriously. And whenever applying for a job, make sure that your email address is your first name, your last name at gmail.com, first name, last name at yahoo.com, first name and last name at hotmail.com, or and so on and so forth. So make your email address professional. That's what I'm saying. The third step in writing your cover letter is that you have to greet the hiring manager. So this is creating your rapport, right? Once you've properly listed the contact information, you need to start your cover letter with the greeting. So the very first thing you want to do is to address your cover letter to the hiring manager, and that's right. The hiring manager, not overly popular. In some cases, you could just say dear sir or dear madam. You may want to show your future boss that you did your research and that you know who you're writing to, and really be passionate in this way by inserting their name. And if you still can't find the right person, the name or the title, so here are some general ways that you can offer your greetings in your cover letter. So you could say, dear hiring manager. That's one that I use very often when you don't know who you're addressing your letter to. You can also use this one, to whom it may concern. So these are some of the things that you can say. Step 4, write an attention-grabbing introduction. Your introduction should be a killer section in your cover letter. You have to understand that recruiters or hiring managers, they get thousands of cover letters, and in most cases they're not going to read from the first page to the last page, and that's why your first sentence or paragraph matters. So the opening matters, because that might be just the one thing they're going to read, so you have to make it count. So it's essential for you to catch their attention in the very first paragraph, in the way you are going to say the things you want to say. The common problem I have seen is that most cover letters, the opening paragraphs, are usually extremely generic. You don't want to do that. Most of the time, people are so generic. You'll hear something like, my name is maybe Peter, and I would like to work for your organization as a communications officer. So that's quite generic, and some would go to say, I have worked as a communications officer at XXX organization, and I have 5 years of experience. That is too generous. Make sure that this opening paragraph doesn't say pretty much anything except the fact that you've worked the job before. that is what you want to say, that you have done that particular job before, that you have experience in that job. So instead of being so generic, you have to start off with 2 to 3 of your top achievements. That should be upfront, because that might be the only thing that the hiring manager is going to read about you, and they're going to take a decision based on what they read in those first few sentences. So you have to grab their attention by highlighting 2 to 3 achievements right up there to demonstrate that you know the job, you've done the job, you've walked the talk, and preferably the achievements should be relevant, as relevant to the position as possible. Make sure you can tailor them. So make sure you are very, very straight to the point in talking about these achievements. You could say, for instance, my name is Michael and I would like to help X organization hit and exceed their targets or their sales goals as a sales manager or as a marketing manager or whatever. I have worked with X company, which is a fine tech company, for 3+ years as a sales representative. I generated an average of 5 million francs CFA in sales per month. So yeah, that's something you want to say. That's standing out, right? So it's striking. And then you go on to say, I believe that my previous industry experience as well as excellence in sales makes me the right candidate for the job. So you are standing out there in the way you're communicating there. So yeah, so the difference from the first one we saw, which was more generic, and this one is quite clear, right? Now make sure that once you've done this introduction, you're thinking about how you're going to progress into the body of your letter, because this is just the introduction. So let's talk about step 5, which is you have to explain why you are a perfect person for the position. So this is where you show off your professional skills and convince the HR manager or the human resource manager that you are a better fit for the job than all the other applicants. You need to learn what the most important requirement for the role is, or the requirements are. Seek out the job advertisement and look at what the responsibilities are and which ones are most critical for that position. So for the sake of the examples, let's say you're applying for a position of marketing manager, you can scan the job ad and look at the descriptions and see which ones are the top, especially the requirements. So it could be that you need experience, previous experience as a manager, communications manager. It could just be that you need skills in writing, editing, and proofreading. You need skills, digital skills. All of those might be some things that you want to pay attention. You need excellent copywriting skills. You need excellent PR skills. You need excellent skills when it comes to public speaking. Those are some things that might be there. So in this section now, you need to discuss how you fulfill these requirements or these skills. So you have to be very tactful in the way you do this and be very effective. Once you've identified these skills, you have to explain in this paragraph how you've demonstrated these skills and how you can demonstrate the skills even in the current position if you are hired. The next step is explain why you are a good fit for the company. So why you're a good fit for the position is quite different from why you are a good fit for the company or the organization. Most organizations, they have their vision, their mission. So you have to research the mission and the vision of the organization so you can effectively, in this portion, write why you are a better fit for the organization, why your own personal mission and goal align with the goal of the organization, the objectives the organization is seeking to achieve, and show how your personal growth aligns also with the growth of the organization, how achieving personal objectives will foster the attainment of the vision or the goal of the organization. The way you can do this is by demonstrating that you understand what the company's business model is, what the company produces, or what its services are. So you have to demonstrate that you know these things. And have you used the company's products or services? It might be something you want to talk about. And what is the culture like? You want to also focus on that. And you should be able to understand the company in order to show how you can be a better fit for that company. So research is very important in this case. So go down there and read about the company and make sure that you know where they're coming from and where they're going. And so the next step is that wrap up with a call to action. A call to action is very important. So finally, it's time to finish up your cover letter. You've done a lot of writing, and the conclusion is very important. You don't just want to conclude lightly. You want to conclude with a call to action. So in this final paragraph, you want to wrap up the points in the previous paragraph. So again, do you have anything left to say? That's a question you may want to ask yourself. Any other information that could help the hiring manager make their decision, you can mention it here, of course. And thank the hiring manager for the time and the opportunity you've been given. Show some courtesy in this segment, as long as you don't come across or come off as too needy or too desperate. So be cautious and thank them for what they've done. The very last sentence in the cover letter should be a call to action. You should ask the hiring manager to take some sort of action. So you could say something like, to wrap it all, thanks for looking into my application. I hope I can help Company X make the most out of their communications marketing initiatives. So that might be a call to action, and you can follow up by saying, I would love to further discuss how my previous experience or previous success at, maybe you insert your current or past organization or organization you worked with, can help you achieve your Company X communications or marketing goals. So that is a call to action. And then the last step, which I want to quickly mention, is that use the right formal closing. So there should be a closing, just like for any kind of letter. So your cover letter should have a closing. Once you're done with the final paragraph, all you need to do is just write a very formal goodbye, and you're good to go. So feel free to use the most popular conclusions to a cover letter. So it could be best regards, kind regards, sincerely, thank you. And we're finally done. And before sending off your cover letter, make sure that you proofread it with maybe a software. I always use Grammarly, which is a software you can always find it on Google. If you just Google Grammarly, it's gonna be something you can register and just copy the whole thing and paste on Grammarly, and it's gonna proofread for you and show the errors. But again, spend time reading it and making sure that you can relate with the things that you've written, and make sure that there's no plagiarism in the things that you've written. And when it's all been said and done, yeah, it's time for you to fire through that cover letter along with your curriculum vitae to the hiring manager, and wait for positive outcome and be optimistic as you apply, right? So thank you for watching today. And if this has been helpful to you, I would love for you to share this with someone. I would love for you to encourage someone who's going through a difficult time applying for jobs by letting them see this information, so that maybe they can top up their application by adding a cover letter to their curriculum vitae. A lot of people have been using the curriculum vitae single-handedly. I would say you have to marry that with a cover letter and see how it works well for you. Thank you, and may God bless you as you continue to search for that dream job.